All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. Joining us now, the parish president of Lafourche Parish, Parish President Archie Chaisson. Arch, good to see you again. How are you?
It's good, Martin. It's raining here in Thibodeau yet again. Hopefully one day it stops, but we're doing okay.
You're right. Been having a lot of rain. I talked to the parish president of Terrebonne. We're sort of amazed at the amount of rainfall, but I'm also amazed at the number and the percentage increase with COVID, and I know that has to have your eye. And just let me let you talk about that a little bit. Are you alarmed by that at all?
Martin, we've seen the number go up. Something that I think we all thought was going to happen once some of the restrictions got eased, and we saw masks come off. We saw people not social distancing anymore. We got people traveling again. So I think the overall positivity rate and the case number going up was bound to happen. As we've talked about before, the positivity rate is based on the overall testing, based on your overall number of positive cases. And when we're not testing as much, it's going to make the positivity rate rise as well. So we're at like right at 8.5% on a positivity rate, which is something that's been climbing. We were down below 1%, a few months ago. So as things begin to crank up again, we're again not shocked that that's going up. Our vaccine rate's at about 32%, 32.06, I think is the exact number. And when you look at parishes surrounding us, we're up there above some of the other parishes. You look at New Orleans and some of the river parishes, they're in that 40% mark. But when you get kind of more toward southwest Louisiana, and then as you go up north, that number trickles down into the 20s. So we're kind of in the middle of where everybody else is. So that's a good thing. When you look at the cases that are happening now, most of those, 90% of those, are probably unvaccinated people. I do know of some people who have been vaccinated and do have COVID right now. It's just going to happen that the efficacy rate on those vaccines, like we've said all along, is 95, 96%. So if you're in that 4%, you're gonna get it no matter what. But the effects are lessened, which is a good thing. We're not seeing as many people in hospitals and on ventilators like we saw prior to the vaccine, and especially in the height of the pandemic this point last year. So overall, we're doing okay.
Yeah, y'all had 152 more cases over the weekend, but of course, that's sort of a skewed number because I think you got to separate that into 3 days, if not. So when you look at certainly an increase, but one case in Thibodeau, I think y'all lost, without saying a name, I think y'all lost one of y'all citizens this weekend who actually was involved in a retreat. A lot of people got COVID from that retreat. So then again, it's like I talked with the parish president of Terrebonne. Although we feel better than we did a year ago, it's still a very lethal coronavirus, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's something that I think again we're going to have to deal with probably for the remainder of the future. We've just like we've dealt with flus and the polios and the smallpox and all this other stuff. It's just some variant that we're going to have to deal with, and we're going to have to figure out how to live our lives. We were talking this morning. The district attorney and I had a meeting this morning about court. We had a court case last week that had a mistrial due to a juror that was on one of the panels that wasn't even selected that tested positive, and we declared a mistrial because of that. So we have to figure out how we're going to deal with these things, as we go forward. And again, whether it was 6 months ago or 8 months ago we talked about this and how we were seeing spikes as holidays happen, we're going to have to continue to figure out how to deal with it. And I don't think the answer again is shutting down the economy or going back to all these weird restrictions we had back then. It's just something like we had in the height of flu season, like we have in the height of cold season when kids go back to school. Just something we're going to have to learn how to deal with.
Yeah, we have about a couple of minutes left, Archie. But just like Gordy talks with people at Chabert Medical and Terrebonne General Health System, you talk with people at Thibodeau Regional and also St. Anne's and some of the other hospitals in the area. Do you sense a concern from the medical personnel of what's happening right now?
I really don't, Martin, and I think that's a testament to those guys and how we figured out different ways to treat it. Not everybody ends up on a ventilator like we saw in the past. They're using different oxygen treatments to get them back. Now, in some severe cases, you do see people back. Some people come back, but I think now that we figured out how to treat it, that we figured out how to protect ourselves from it, using the right PPE in the hospitals as the nurses and the doctors interact with these people. As we've seen rapid testing and different testing kits become available, and we could test it and catch it I think we're going to be okay, and I think they know they're going to be okay from a hospital standpoint. Again, we got 32% of the population here vaccinated that are eligible. And look, when you think about it, we're got about 100,000 people in the parish. Probably 50,000, 60,000 of those, 70,000 are adult age where we can get them vaccinated. The rest are going to be children. We're going to have those people roll in, whether they're getting it from a retreat, whether you're getting it from a fishing rodeo, whether they're getting it from when we go back to school and teachers are congregating again and things like that. I think the medical community has rallied around themselves, and as we get better treatments, as we get better advice from docs and the CDC and the government, they've gotten better ways at treating this. So I think it's kind of lessened their fears about the variants and everything else. As we get people more vaccinated, we know what we're doing.
All right, and we're going to hold you over for another segment if you don't mind. We'll take a break. At this point, we're talking with the parish president of Lafourche Parish, and especially for our Facebook and YouTubers out there. We appreciate you getting us any way you can get us, and we've expanded the way we get to you. So we'll take a break right now. Be looking for a second segment with the parish president of Lafourche Parish, as we'll rejoin him in just a few short seconds.